Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you still lose in the end? Why do some people win in every situation while others, even after giving their best, still fail? Why does it feel like life is always one step ahead, throwing problems faster than we can solve them? Imagine this. Two people face the same problem. One breaks down, the other grows stronger. What made the difference? It wasn't the situation, it was the mind. One controlled it, the other was controlled by it. Let's take a simple example. You missed the bus today. One reaction is anger, frustration, maybe even blaming yourself or others. The other response is calm acceptance, maybe even a quiet smile and the thought, something better might be waiting. Which one do you think wins the day? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a channel where ancient teachings meet modern life. If you're someone who's tired of losing to stress, people, emotions, or even your own mind, then stay with us. This journey will transform the way you look at life and yourself. There's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribes. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps and keeps this wisdom flowing to more souls like you. Now let's begin. Buddhism teaches that the first war is not outside, it's within. You don't lose to people, you lose to your own reactions. Fear, anger, doubt, these are the real enemies. Life brings situations, but our mind adds the suffering. Once you see this, you've already taken your first step to winning. Most people live on autopilot. They react, they don't respond. But you, if you pause, observe, and understand, can change your whole reality. That pause is power. That awareness is victory. You don't need to control the world. Just learn to see things clearly. Stay with us, because from here, the path to winning, truly winning, begins. Mastering the mind. The first victory is within. Sit quietly for a moment, my child. Close your eyes. What do you hear? Maybe the sound of a fan, distant voices, or just silence. But now, listen deeper. Do you hear your thoughts? That voice inside, always speaking, always judging, always moving. That is the battlefield. You see, people think battles are fought outside, with situations, people, and problems. But that is not the truth. The real war is inside you. The mind is where all victories and all defeats are born. Let me ask you, have you ever felt restless for no reason? Angry at someone for something small? Felt like running away from everything even though nothing is chasing you? This is the sign. The sign that your mind is not in your control. And when the mind is wild, life becomes painful. But here's the beauty. This mind, this wild force, is not your enemy. It only needs to be understood. Like a child throwing tantrums, it doesn't need punishment. It needs attention, patience, and love. Let me tell you a story. A monk once came to the Buddha and asked, "Master, I sit to meditate, but thoughts keep coming. I try to push them away, but they return stronger. What should I do?" Buddha smiled and said, "Do not fight them. Just watch. Like clouds in the sky, they will come and go. You are the sky, not the cloud. That is the secret. The moment you realize you're not your thoughts, you are free. Thoughts are like passing travelers on a long road. You are the road. They come and go, you stay. But how do we start? First, become friends with silence. Sit for just 5 minutes every morning. No phone, no noise. Just sit. Close your eyes and observe. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Just watch them like watching birds fly past. This is not easy in the beginning. The mind will scream, it will wander, it will pull you into stories. But be gentle. Bring it back with kindness, not force. Like a mother calling her child home from play. Over time, something magical happens. The noise becomes less loud. The mind begins to listen. You start noticing your thoughts before they become words. You see your anger rising before it explodes. And in that small moment, you gain control. Now think about it. If someone insults you and you react instantly, shouting back, who won? But if you feel the anger rise and you smile and stay quiet, who is the real master? Victory is not about overpowering others. It is about not being overpowered by yourself. When you can sit in pain without bitterness, when you can feel fear and still take a step forward, when you can watch desire arise and not chase it, you are winning. And the truth is, No one sees this battle. It happens in silence. But those who win it shine. Their peace becomes power. Their calm becomes strength. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're carrying a glass of water. If someone bumps into you, the water spills. Not because they bumped you, but because your glass was already full. That's your mind. If it's full of stress, anger, and anxiety, even a small touch will make you spill. So what's the solution? Empty the glass. Empty it daily. Sit, breathe, and let go. Release what is not needed. Forgive. Stop replaying old arguments. Stop planning 10 years ahead. Just come back to now. This breath. This moment. Buddhism teaches us that suffering doesn't come from the world, but from our attachment to how the world should be. We suffer not because the road is hard, but because we expected it to be smooth. Drop the expectations. Let life be what it is. Don't chase happiness. Sit still, and happiness will return like a bird returning to its nest. Don't chase success. Give your best effort and let go. Don't chase people. Be full within, and the right ones will stay. Mastering the mind is not about making it empty, but about making it clear. So clear that even in chaos, you can see the truth. You must become like still water. When water is still, you can see your reflection. When the mind is still, you can see your real self. And who are you, really? Not your job, not your body, not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind it all, the silent witness, the one who watches. And once you taste that awareness, everything changes. You stop taking things personally. You stop rushing. You stop needing so much. Because you realize you already have everything inside you. Victory doesn't mean life becomes perfect. It means you're no longer disturbed by its imperfections. Let storms come, you remain rooted. Let praise or insult come, you remain centered. Let failure or success come, you remain present. That is the first and greatest victory. So begin now. Sit quietly today. Watch your thoughts without judgment. Smile at your restlessness. Let your mind speak, but don't follow it. Like a wise elder watching a child. You see, you understand, but you don't get lost. This path is not for those who seek quick results. But if you walk it slowly, with trust and patience, your whole world will change. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Winning every situation doesn't mean controlling everything. It means mastering the one thing that controls everything, your own mind. And when that happens, you don't need to win anymore, because you've already won. Let go or be dragged, winning by surrendering. Have you ever tried holding on to something too long? A grudge, a memory, a regret, a person. And after days, weeks, maybe even years, you feel it still pulling you down, still burning quietly inside your heart. Yes, that's the drag. You may not notice it every day, but it's always there, like a heavy stone tied to your back. And the harder you try to walk forward while dragging that stone, the more tired you become. That is how most people live. They say they want peace, but they carry anger. They say they want joy, but they carry sorrow. They say they want clarity, but they carry confusion. Let me tell you a small Zen story. A monk and his student were walking through a muddy village road. It had just rained, and the path was slippery. They came across a woman wearing a beautiful silk robe. She couldn't cross the road without getting dirty. The monk, without saying a word, lifted her gently, carried her across the road, and put her down safely. She didn't say thank you. She walked away. Hours later, the student said, "Master, that woman was so rude. You carried her, and she didn't even thank you." The monk replied calmly, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" That is the power of letting go. The student had not lifted the woman physically, but he carried her in his mind. That's what most of us do. We carry words people said. We carry the moments we failed. We carry love that wasn't returned. And then we wonder, why is life so heavy? But here is the truth. The weight is not in the memory. The weight is in the holding. Look at your hand. If you hold a glass of water for a few seconds, it feels fine. If you hold it for an hour, your arm hurts. If you hold it for a day, it becomes unbearable. The weight hasn't changed, but your tiredness grows with time. That's what happens with emotional pain. The longer you hold it, the more it hurts. So what does Buddhism teach? It teaches impermanence. Everything changes, nothing stays. The people you love will leave. The things you own will decay. The body you live in will grow old. If you accept this truth deeply, you'll stop clinging. You'll begin to flow. And in flowing, you will win. Because the river never loses. It flows around obstacles, over rocks, under bridges. It keeps moving, and so it never breaks. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to stop hurting yourself. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It means you remember with peace, not pain. Letting go doesn't mean weakness. It is the deepest form of strength. Ask yourself this right now. What are you still holding that no longer helps you? A broken relationship? An old insult? A business failure? A mistake you made long ago? Why are you still holding it? Has it helped you? Has it healed you? Letting go doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a choice. The choice to stop feeding it. Stop revisiting it. Stop picking at the wound. And what do you do instead? You breathe. You sit. You be kind to yourself. In Zen, we don't teach you to escape your past. We teach you to face it with soft eyes, to bow to your pain, to say, thank you for the lesson, and then walk forward. There is nothing in the past that can be changed, but there is everything in the present that can be chosen. A man once asked the Buddha, I want happiness. The Buddha replied, first remove that's ego, then remove want, that's desire. What remains is happiness. To let go is to remove everything that is not you. Pain is not you. Fear is not you. Even your thoughts are not you. You are the awareness behind all of them. And awareness doesn't cling. It simply sees. Now, many people ask, but Master, how can I let go when it still hurts? The answer is start small. Start by not repeating the story. Start by not checking their social media. Start by not keeping souvenirs of your sadness. Start by forgiving yourself for not healing faster. You don't have to jump across the ocean. Just take one step. If someone wronged you, forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. If something failed, accept, not because it was right, but because it already happened. Life is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be experienced. And experience becomes wisdom only when we don't hold on to the pain of it. Surrender is not defeat. Surrender is saying, I trust the flow of life more than my need to control it. Let go of who you thought you should be. Let go of what you expected. Let go of how it should have turned out. And suddenly you'll see, you are lighter. You are freer. You can breathe again. The birds do not cling to the wind. They ride it. And you, too, must ride the present. Pain will visit. Loss will come. But if you bow to it gently and let it pass, it won't become suffering. Holding on creates a knot in your heart. Letting go unties it. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what I need to put down, and then whisper to yourself, I'm ready to let go. Not to erase the past, but to walk forward without dragging it. Not to forget, but to forgive. Not to win over others, but to win over the heaviness inside. And slowly, gently, you'll realize, in letting go, you didn't lose. You simply made space for something new. And that is the beginning of every true victory. The power of present, conquering the moment. Come closer. Sit with me under this old tree. Feel the breeze. Listen to the leaves. Now breathe. This moment is alive. And yet, most people miss it. They are either living in a memory or chasing a future. They are here, but not truly here. They look at their food, but don't taste it. They sit with loved ones, but their mind is on the phone. They walk through nature, but only see a screen. The present moment is all there is, but is also the thing most people ignore. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been sitting somewhere safe, nothing wrong in your surroundings, yet your heart feels heavy? You're not sad about now. You're sad about then, or worried about later. And that's where suffering lives, not in the present, but in the mind's refusal to be present. Let me tell you a small Zen story. A young monk once asked the master, what is enlightenment? The master replied, when I eat, I eat. When I walk, I walk. When I sleep, I sleep. The monk frowned, but I do that too, master. The master smiled gently, no. When you eat, your mind is on yesterday. When you walk, your mind is racing. When you sleep, your mind is full of noise. That is not living. That is surviving. This is the core teaching of presence. You can't change the past. You can't live in the future. But you can touch this moment. And this moment, if held fully, is always enough. Most people ask, how do I stop overthinking? The answer is not force. It is focus. Not focus with pressure, but gentle attention. When you're drinking tea, drink the tea. Notice its warmth. Taste it slowly. Feel it go down your throat. That one cup, fully experienced, can teach you more about peace than 100 books. This is not philosophy. This is practice. Try this. Next time you wash your hands, just wash your hands. Don't plan your day. Don't replay yesterday. Just feel the water, the coolness, the soap, the touch. Simple? Yes. But in that moment, your mind rests. And in that rest, healing begins. Why does the present feel so difficult to stay in? Because the mind is addicted to movement. It's always jumping, to pain, to pleasure, to problems. The mind believes that if it keeps thinking, it can solve life. But life is not a puzzle to be solved. It's a dance to be danced. And dances happen now. You've never danced in the past or future. You dance here, with your feet, with your breath, with your awareness. That's why animals are often more peaceful than humans. Not because they have less, but because they don't think so much. A cat sits in the sun. It doesn't plan. A bird sings. It doesn't worry about who's listening. A tree sways in the wind. It doesn't resist the movement. They are not trapped in time. But we are. We either carry the past on our back or run toward a future that hasn't come. And so we miss life itself. Ask yourself, right now, this moment, what is wrong? Now what could go wrong? Now what did go wrong? Just right now. Often you'll find nothing. The room is quiet. Your body is breathing. Your heart is beating. You are safe. And in that space, peace already exists. But peace is not loud. It doesn't fight for your attention like anxiety does. You must slow down to feel it. You must learn to be where your feet are. That is the only place where life lives. Let me give you a small image. Imagine a river. The water is rushing. You throw a leaf into it. It gets carried away quickly. That's your mind in chaos. Thoughts rushing. Emotions reacting. Now imagine that same river in the early morning. Still, calm. You throw a leaf, it floats gently. You can see it clearly. That's your mind when it's in the present. Stillness is clarity. The more you learn to return to the moment, the more you'll begin to see life clearly, without judgment, without rush. Do you know why people repeat the same mistakes? Not because they are foolish, but because they are not present enough to see what's happening. The same thoughts, the same reactions, the same blind decisions. Presence breaks that cycle. When you're present, you can pause before you speak. You can pause before you act. And in that pause, you choose peace over impulse. Now, presence does not mean passivity. You still do what needs to be done, but you do it with awareness, not anxiety. You reply to the message, but you're not checking your phone every 5 minutes. You work on your goals, but you're not drowning in what-ifs. You feel emotions, but you're not swept away by them. This is mastery, and here is the golden truth. Presence is the secret to winning any moment. Why? Because in presence, you're no longer controlled by the past. You are no longer afraid of the future. You are free, and a free mind is the most powerful thing in the world. A free mind doesn't react, it responds. It doesn't cling, it flows. It doesn't fight reality, it accepts and moves wisely. Try this the next time you feel overwhelmed. Stop. Take a slow breath. Feel the ground under your feet. Notice one sound around you. Notice one smell. Feel the air on your skin. You have returned. And once you return, you win. Not by force, not by changing the world, but by being in harmony with it. Remember, child, the present is not just a moment. It is the doorway to all wisdom. Everything you're looking for, peace, joy, clarity, love, it is not far. It is right here, right now, in this very breath. So come back. Come back again and again. Each time your mind wanders, gently return. No blame, no guilt, just return. The present moment is your teacher. It will never punish you. It will always welcome you home. And when you finally learn to live here, not just visit briefly, then every situation becomes winnable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become steady, like a mountain in the storm, like a candle in the dark, like a river that knows its path. This is the way. The illusion of control, finding strength in acceptance. Let me begin with a question. How much of your life have you spent trying to control things? Controlling how others see you, controlling outcomes, controlling the future, controlling what people think, say, or do. And how often did life obey? Not very often, right? You plan carefully. Something unexpected happens. You love deeply. Someone leaves. You do everything right and still face pain. Why? Because control is an illusion. You cannot stop the wind from blowing. You cannot make the rain fall or the sun rise. You cannot force a flower to bloom faster or make someone love you just because you want them to. Yet people suffer daily, try to do exactly that. And when things don't go their way, they break. Not because the world is cruel, but because they built their peace on something they never actually controlled. This is one of the greatest teachings of Buddhism. Attachment to control creates suffering, not the situation itself, but your unwillingness to accept it. Let me tell you a story. There was once a farmer. One day, his horse ran away. The villagers said, "What bad luck." The farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 wild horses. The villagers said, "What good luck?" He replied, "Maybe." Later, his son tried to ride one of the wild horses and broke his leg. The villagers cried, "What bad luck?" The farmer again said, "Maybe." Then soldiers came to the village, taking all young men to war. But his son was spared because of his injury. Now the villagers said, "What good luck?" Again, he calmly said, "Maybe." You see, he never tried to control the judgment of the moment. He just accepted what came fully. This story is not about being emotionless. It's about not clinging, not resisting life's flow. It's about trust. Most people don't live. They try to manage life like a machine. Fix this, change that, force this person, avoid that emotion. But life is not a machine. Life is a river. You can't straighten it. You can't freeze it. All you can do is learn how to float. And floating comes through acceptance. Now let me be clear. Acceptance does not mean liking what's happening. It doesn't mean being passive or weak. It simply means not fighting reality. If it's raining and you stand outside yelling at the sky, will the rain stop? No. But if you quietly open an umbrella or take shelter, you have accepted it. And now you're not suffering. The rain didn't change, but your approach did. That's real strength. Real strength is not in trying to fix every situation. It is in adjusting your mind, your heart, your breath to meet what is. Some people believe they can only be peaceful if life is peaceful. But what if life is never peaceful? Will you never rest? The wise person learns to carry peace inside, so that no matter how loud the outside gets, the inner space stays calm. And this begins when you drop the illusion of control. You stop trying to make life perfect. You stop trying to control other people's reactions. You stop trying to fix every emotion. Instead, you sit down. You breathe. You say to yourself, "This is what it is. Now what can I do with peace?" Let me share another small example. You're stuck in traffic, late for a meeting. Frustration rises. You honk. You curse. You clench your fists. But the cars don't move faster, do they? Now imagine you accept it. You turn on soft music. You breathe deeply. You remind yourself, this moment is part of my day too. The traffic is still there. But now, you are not a prisoner of it. Do you see the difference? In the first, you suffer twice, once from the traffic and again from your reaction. In the second, you only experience the situation, not the suffering. That is the power of acceptance. Pain is a part of life. But suffering? Suffering is optional. We suffer when we demand life to be different. We suffer when we say, "It shouldn't be like this. They shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have failed." But who decides what should be? The world or your mind? Let me tell you something honest. Life will not go as planned. People will hurt you. Your body will age. Money will come and go. Health will rise and fall. Loved ones will leave. Seasons will change. You can either hold tightly and break, or loosen your grip and bend with grace. That's why trees survive storms. not because they are strong, but because they know how to bend. And you must learn this too. You don't have to like everything that happens, but you must stop fighting what already is. If you're sick, accept it. Then take wise action. If someone left, accept it. Then heal. If you failed, accept it. Then learn. When you stop wasting energy on resistance, you start using it for growth. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means beginning from where you are instead of where you wish you were. And here's a secret. When you accept something, its power over you reduces. You take back control, not of the situation, but of yourself. And that is true freedom. So how do we practice this? First, become aware of when you're resisting. Notice the tightness in your chest, the clenching in your jaw, the rapid thoughts. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Then gently whisper to yourself, let it be. Not forever. Just for now. Let this moment exist as it is. Then act. Not from fear, not from force, but from presence. This is the shift. And when you make this shift enough times, your mind learns acceptance is not weakness. It is wisdom. You become like the ocean. The waves come, joy, pain, gain, loss. But you remain steady beneath. And life respects those who flow with it. So today, as you go through your day, remember, not everything will go your way, but everything can be met with grace. Drop the illusion of control. Pick up the strength of acceptance. You don't have to fix the world. You just have to meet it with a steady heart. That is how you win, by not needing to win every moment. Some battles are best walked away from. Some situations are best surrendered to. Some emotions are best watched, not wrestled with. And some victories come quietly, when you accept what is and smile anyway. Respond, don't react. The calm wins every storm. Come, child. Sit near the stillness. Let's talk not about the world outside, but the storm that rises within. The storm that causes so much pain, because we don't yet know how to be calm inside it. Tell me, have you ever said something in anger and regretted it later? Have you ever made a decision in fear and paid for it afterward? Have you ever reacted so quickly that you didn't even realize what you were doing until it was too late? Of course you have. We all have. And why does this happen? Because most people are living in reaction. Like a drum, if someone hits you, you make a sound. If someone praises you, you smile. If someone insults you, you burn. If something doesn't go your way, you explode inside. This is not freedom. This is slavery. A slavery of emotions. Reacting is automatic. It needs no awareness, no depth. It is just an instant fire, a spark that burns the whole house down before you even know there was smoke. But responding is different. It is deliberate, aware, gentle, wise. To respond means to pause, to observe, to take a breath, to understand, and then to act, not from emotion, but from clarity. This pause is your power. In that one moment of silence before you speak, before you act, you can change everything. Let me tell you a small Zen story. A student came to the master and said, "Master, I am always angry. People say things and I can't stop myself. I shout, I fight, I cry. What should I do?" The master gave him a glass of muddy water and said, "Hold it." The student held it. After some time, the master said, "Now, let it rest." The student placed the glass on the table. After a few minutes, the mud settled to the bottom. The water became clear. The master smiled and said, "Your mind is like this water. When you react, it stirs the mud. Everything becomes cloudy. But if you pause, if you let it settle, the truth becomes clear." This is how you win every situation. Not by being louder, not by being quicker, but by being clearer. Now you may ask, but how do I pause when emotions rise so fast? The answer is practice. At first, your anger will rise quickly. Your fear will race. Your frustration will shout. But if you practice awareness daily, even just for a few minutes, you begin to see it all before it controls you. You see the anger rising. You feel the fear building. You sense the irritation crawling into your chest. And in that tiny space of noticing, you gain freedom. You now have a choice. You can breathe. You can stay silent. You can walk away. You can wait before responding. And that one choice can save relationships, careers, peace of mind, and even your future. Let's take an example. Suppose someone insults you. In reaction, you raise your voice. You insult back. You walk away filled with rage. But did anything improve? No. You may feel a false sense of power, but the reality is you handed your peace over to someone else. Now imagine a response. You hear the insult. You breathe. You see the pain in their words. You understand it is not about you, it is their suffering spilling out. And you choose silence. Or you smile and walk away. Or you speak calmly with strength. Who wins now? The one who keeps his center wins, not the one who screams louder. Let me say something clearly. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to defend your ego all the time. You don't have to prove yourself in every situation. True power is quiet. It doesn't need to be seen. It is felt. And when you stop reacting, you become powerful. Because now, you're not being pulled by everything around you. You are still, steady, wise, like a tree that does not move when the dog barks, like the sky that remains untouched, no matter how many storms pass through it. Let me show you how to build this inner calm. It starts with one simple practice: watch your breath. Every day, sit for 5 minutes. Just watch your breath. In and out, in and out. When the mind runs, bring it back. Gently, like guiding a child. This may seem small, but it is a miracle, because the one who can watch his breath can also watch his anger, his sadness, his fear. And if you can watch it, you are no longer trapped in it. This is the doorway to freedom. Remember, reaction is a reflex, but response is a reflection. A reaction says, I am not in control. The world decides how I feel. A response says, I see what's happening, and I choose my peace. One comes from habit, the other from awareness. Now let me ask you, how many problems in your life came because of a reaction? How many moments of silence could have saved you from days of regret? How many arguments could have ended with understanding, not escalation? How many times did you wish, if only I had paused? That pause is not far. It is one breath away, 1 second of stillness, one soft reminder to yourself, I don't need to react. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. You become the one who brings calm to chaos, the one who thinks before they act, the one who listens more than they speak. You become the eye of the storm, silent, still, yet full of power. And when others are shouting, complaining, blaming, you remain centered. Not because you are better, but because you have trained yourself to be free. This is what it means to respond. It is the art of meeting life, not with resistance, not with emotion, but with wisdom. You don't let the world enter you like poison. You filter it through clarity. And only then do you decide what to say, what to do, and what to let go. So, the next time something triggers you, stop, feel the fire, then feel your breath. Let the fire burn in your chest, but don't throw it out into the world. Let it warm you with awareness. Let it pass, and then respond with truth, with calm, with strength. That is how a Zen warrior lives. Not by fighting every battle, but by knowing when to fight, when to walk, and when to simply breathe. The one who reacts is a slave. The one who responds is free. And in that freedom, you win. Not over others, but over yourself. And that, dear one, is the only victory that truly matters. Desire and suffering, the invisible war. Come close, dear one. Let's speak of a war fought every day. Not on battlefields with swords and shields, but inside the mind, quietly and unseen. This war is between desire and peace, between craving and contentment, between wanting and being. Most people don't realize this battle is happening. They think their suffering comes from outside, problems, people, situations. But the deepest pain is born inside, from desire. What is desire? It is the mind's hunger for something more, something different, something better, something never enough. Desire is like a fire burning inside. It pushes us forward, yes. It helps us build, create, and grow. But if left unchecked, it becomes a wildfire, destroying calm, joy, and even health. Let me tell you a simple story. A man once came to the Buddha and said, "Master, I have many desires. I want wealth, fame, love, and happiness. But every time I get close, I feel empty. Why? The Buddha answered, desire is like drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. This is the invisible war, the endless chase that never brings peace. You see, when we desire, we attach. We say, if I have this, then I will be happy. But the moment we get it, the mind shifts. It wants more, or it fears losing what it has. And in this cycle, suffering grows. Have you ever felt this? You bought something you thought would make you happy. But after a while, the happiness faded. You wanted approval from someone. When you got it, you craved more. You chased success. When you achieved it, a new desire took its place. This is the nature of desire. It is never satisfied. It is always hungry. This hunger creates suffering, because when desire is unfulfilled, we feel pain. When it is fulfilled, the relief is temporary. The Buddha teaches us that suffering comes from attachment, which means holding on to desire as if it will complete us. But nothing external can complete you. Nothing outside can fill the emptiness inside. You're whole already, but desire blinds you to that truth. So, how do we win this invisible war? First, by seeing desire clearly. Don't fight it. Don't shame yourself for having desires. It is natural. It is part of being human. But watch it. See when desire arises. Notice the feeling it brings. Does it bring peace? Or does it bring restlessness? Does it bring joy? Or does it bring anxiety? Awareness is the first step. Second, practice contentment. Contentment is not about giving up or becoming passive. It is about recognizing what you already have. Look around you. Breathe. Feel your body. See the sky. Appreciate the food you eat. When you practice contentment, desire loses its grip. It doesn't mean you stop growing or learning, but your happiness stops depending on getting something outside. Third, understand impermanence. Everything changes. Everything you desire will not last forever. People, money, success, all are like clouds passing in the sky. When you grasp this, desire softens. You stop chasing shadows. Fourth, train your mind with meditation. Sit quietly. When desire arises, watch it without following it. See it as a wave that comes and goes. You're not the wave. You're the ocean beneath. This practice weakens desire's power over you. Now, you may ask, does this mean I stop wanting things? No. It means you want, but you don't suffer when you don't get. You enjoy the journey, but you don't cling to the outcome. You walk on the path, but you don't attach to the destination. This freedom is true happiness. Let me share another story. A wealthy king once asked a monk, I have everything, money, power, fame. Why do I feel empty? The monk replied, because you are chasing after a mirage. You see the treasure, but not the cage it builds around you. The king was confused. The monk continued, desire builds cages of expectation, fear, and disappointment. Freedom comes when you step out of the cage. The stepping out is what Buddhism calls liberation. It is not escaping life, but seeing life clearly. Not cutting off desires, but not letting them control you. Imagine a river flowing. Desire is like a leaf on the water. Sometimes it moves fast, sometimes slow. If you hold the leaf tight, you get wet and tired. If you let it float, you enjoy the journey. This is the wisdom of desire and suffering. You don't have to win by fighting desire. You win by understanding it, by watching it, by letting it flow. So, whenever you feel restless, ask yourself, is this desire bringing me peace? Or is it stirring a storm? If it stirs a storm, breathe. Sit quietly. Watch it pass. Desire will come again. But you don't have to run after it. You are not your desires. You are the calm beyond them. And when you live from that calm, you win every invisible war. Because the greatest victory is peace inside. Take your time with this truth. Let it settle in your heart. And when you are ready, we will continue to the next step of the path. Patience and timing, trusting the natural flow. Dear one, have you ever felt hurried? Have you ever wished something would happen now, immediately, without delay? You want success, love, peace, or answers, and yet the clock seems to move slowly. This rushing is the cause of much suffering, because life is not a race. Life is a river flowing at its own pace. We live in a world that praises speed. Fast results, instant gratification, quick fixes. But deep wisdom says, slow down. Wait. Trust the flow. Let me tell you a story. Once, a farmer planted seeds. Every day he watered and cared for them. But the seeds did not sprout immediately. Frustrated, he dug up the soil, checked the seeds, even replanted some. Yet the sprouts were slow to come. A neighbor saw this and laughed. Why do you waste your time? The seeds won't grow overnight. The farmer smiled and said, I cannot force the seed to grow. I can only provide the right conditions and wait patiently. This is life's way. Many people want to control the outcome. They try to force growth, force healing, force success. But growth is natural. It has its own timing. When you try to rush, you only break the roots. When you push too hard, you miss the lessons in waiting. Patience is not passive. It is active trust. It is saying, I will do my part and let life do the rest. The Buddha taught patience as a powerful practice. When we learn patience, we learn to accept the present moment fully, even if it is uncomfortable. Why is patience so hard? Because the mind craves certainty and control. It wants to see immediate results. It fears waiting because waiting feels like losing control. But true power comes when you surrender this need. When you trust the natural timing of life, you relax. You stop fighting the current and begin to swim with it. Consider this. Do the trees push their branches to grow faster? No. They grow slowly, steadily, according to the seasons. In spring, leaves sprout. In summer, they flourish. In autumn, they fall. They do not rush or resist. If the tree tried to grow leaves in winter, it would fail. Similarly, your life has seasons. Sometimes it is time to plant, sometimes to nurture, sometimes to harvest, sometimes to rest. And each season is important. You may be in a season of waiting. Waiting for healing, waiting for opportunity, waiting for change. Do not despair. Waiting is not nothing. It is part of the process. When you rush through waiting, you miss the gifts hidden there. Patience teaches you humility. It teaches you to listen. It teaches you to trust yourself and the universe. Let me share a practical example. Imagine you're learning a skill. You practice every day, but progress is slow. You feel frustrated. You think, why am I not better by now? This frustration can make you quit. But if you understand patience, you say, I am growing. In time, I will bloom. You keep going, not because you see immediate success, but because you trust the process. This trust is the heart of patience. Now, how do you cultivate patience? First, by changing your relationship with time. Time is not your enemy. It is your ally. You don't have to do everything today. You don't have to solve every problem immediately. Allow yourself to move at your own pace. Second, by practicing mindfulness. When impatience arises, notice it. Don't push it away or judge yourself. Just watch the feeling of wanting. Breathe into it. Ask, what is the hurry? Often, you will find the hurry is in your mind, not in reality. Third, by accepting impermanence. All things change. Your struggles will pass. Your joy will pass. Your life moves like a wave. By embracing this, you relax your grip. Fourth, by trusting the natural flow. You do your part, work, care, love, and then you let go. You let the universe do the rest. This is not giving up. It is wisdom. Now, some may say, but Master, if I wait too long, I may lose my chance. But rushing can make you lose it too. Sometimes, a premature action breaks the delicate thread of fate. Patience keeps the thread intact. A gardener knows when to water and when to wait for rain. So, trust the timing of your life. If a door closes, maybe another is opening in silence. If a seed seems dormant, it may be growing roots deep underground. If you wait with patience, you prepare yourself for the moment when the seed sprouts. Patience is not just waiting. It is how you wait. With hope, with faith, with peace. A patient mind is calm, clear, and strong. It can endure storms without breaking. It can smile in the face of uncertainty. It can move forward without rushing into chaos. Remember, every great thing takes time. Mountains are not formed overnight. Rivers carve valleys over centuries. Even your breath takes a moment to enter and leave your body. So why do you expect instant miracles? The most beautiful things in life come slowly. Love grows through patience. Healing unfolds over time. Wisdom deepens with quiet observation. Practice patience in your daily life. When stuck in traffic, breathe. When waiting in line, smile. When feeling anxious about the future, remind yourself, life unfolds in its own time. Let go of the rush. Slow down. Be with the moment. And in this waiting, you will find a new kind of power. The power to endure. The power to trust. The power to win, not by force, but by flow. Let go of ego, the path to true power. Come close, dear one. Let us speak softly about something very loud. Let's talk about the ego. It is not a monster, not a demon, not something outside you. It is a small voice in your head that always wants to be someone. It says, look at me. It says, I am right. It says, I must win. It says, I cannot be small. I cannot be wrong. I cannot be ignored. The ego is not your enemy, but it is not your true friend either. It is scared, always scared. It lives in fear of being nothing. So it keeps building a mask of pride, a mask of importance, a mask of control. But the trouble is, the more you build this mask, the further you go from peace. Because peace doesn't need a mask. Peace is not interested in being someone. Peace just is. Let me ask you something gently. How many times have you felt hurt? Not because someone harmed you, but because they didn't treat you the way your ego wanted. They didn't give you attention. They didn't agree with you. They didn't praise you. They didn't say sorry first. And your ego said, I deserve better. How dare they? That pain you felt, it didn't come from truth. It came from the ego's tight grip. And the ego's grip is painful, like holding a rope too tight. It burns. But still, people don't let go. Why? Because they believe, if I let go, I'll be weak. I'll disappear. I'll lose. But here's the great misunderstanding. Letting go of ego does not make you weak. It makes you free. Letting go of ego doesn't mean you become nothing. It means you become everything. Because now, you're no longer tied to how others see you, speak to you, treat you. You become unshakable. You're no longer performing for the world. You're just being, and that is power. Let me tell you a story. There was once a great Zen Master who was invited to a royal palace. The king greeted him and said, Master, teach me something that will make me wise. The master simply bowed. Then he said, empty your cup. The king was puzzled. The master pointed to a teacup on the table and began pouring tea until it overflowed. The king shouted, stop. It's already full. The master smiled, exactly. If your cup is full of ego, how can you receive wisdom? This is the heart of the matter. The ego believes it knows. It believes it is always right. It wants to be the center of the room. But wisdom enters only a quiet, humble space. An ego says, I must win every argument. Wisdom says, let me understand. Ego says, they must respect me. Wisdom says, let me be kind, no matter how they behave. Ego says, if I lose, I am nothing. Wisdom says, in losing I grow. Ego is loud. Wisdom is silent. And yet, it is the silent one that leads you to true victory. Now, you may ask, how do I let go of ego? Not by fighting it, not by judging it, not by forcing it to go, but by seeing it clearly, like a shadow that disappears when you bring light. When you notice ego rising, just observe. You are not the voice that says, I should be right. You are the awareness that sees the voice. That awareness is your true self. Let's take a daily example. Imagine someone cuts you off at traffic. The ego shouts, how dare they? I'll show them. But if you pause and breathe, you can say it's not about me. I don't need to carry this. And just like that, you let go. You and not the road, but your mind. Or imagine you're in a conversation. Someone disagrees with you. The ego wants to argue, prove, dominate. But wisdom listens and says, let me hear, let me learn. In that moment, you grow. You rise. Not above them, but above the part of you that needed to win. And that is power. The ego is always comparing. Am I better than them? Do I have more? Do people like me more? This creates suffering, because comparison is endless. There will always be someone richer, smarter, more attractive. If your peace depends on being the best, you will always suffer. But when you drop ego, you stop comparing. You just live. You enjoy your food, not because it's better than someone else's, but because it nourishes you. You walk your path, not to outshine others, but to live your truth. You speak, not to impress, but to connect. You love, not to be admired, but to feel your heart open. This is life without ego, and it is beautiful. Now, remember, ego does not die in one day. It returns again and again, sometimes in the form of pride, sometimes in the form of victimhood, sometimes in the form of silence that hides resentment. But each time it returns, you can smile and say, ah, there you are again. And then, gently, you return to awareness. You don't push the ego away. You don't feed it either. You just let it pass, like a cloud in the sky. Eventually, the clouds thin. The sky becomes clear, and you begin to live in your true self. The self that doesn't need applause. The self that doesn't need to win. The self that is already whole. There's a reason why the greatest masters are the most humble, not because they think less of themselves, but because they think of themselves less. Their mind is open. Their heart is light. Their peace is deep. And you too can live this way. Every time you're tempted to react, pause. Ask, is this my ego or my truth? If it is ego, let go. Choose softness over stubbornness. Choose silence over shouting. Choose understanding over pride. This does not make you small. It makes you wise. True power is not in domination. It is in liberation. And when you let go of ego, you are no longer a puppet of your emotions. You are the master of your inner world. You win, not because others lose. You win because nothing outside can shake your peace. This is the victory of the calm soul. Peace comes from within, not from outside. Cool me. Sit down. Let your shoulders relax. Let us talk. Not about something far away, but something close. So close, in fact, that you might have missed it your entire life. Everyone wants peace. They say, I just want peace of mind. I just want to feel calm. I want to feel okay. But then what do? They search outside. They chase money. They search for the perfect relationship. They run after praise. They build walls, make plans, and collect things. And still, peace remains distant. Why? Because peace does not live in things. Peace does not live in people. Peace does not live in plans or in achievements. Peace is not something you get from the outside. Peace is something that rises from inside. Now you may say, but I feel peaceful when things go right. Yes, that is temporary peace, a shallow peace. It is like calm water on the surface, but one gust of wind and it is disturbed. True peace is deeper. It stays even when the wind blows. It is like the calm ocean below the waves. You can find that peace, but not by chasing, not by running faster, not by demanding the world to behave the way you want. You find it by stopping, by listening within. Let me share a story. A young monk once asked his master, Master, where can I find peace? The master smiled and said, Close your eyes. The monk closed his eyes. Now listen, the master said. I hear birds, said the monk. Keep listening. I hear the wind, he said. Keep listening. I hear my own breath, the monk said softly. The master then said, Do you feel peaceful now? The monk nodded. Good, the master said, because peace was always inside you. You just had to listen. You see, child, the world outside is loud. It pulls your attention in 100 directions. It tells you, you need more. You are not enough. You must prove yourself. You must be perfect. But peace does not need you to be perfect. Peace only needs you to be present. You don't find peace by fixing everything outside. You find peace by being still inside, even when things outside are broken. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt completely peaceful while watching the rain fall? Or while sitting near a tree? Or just watching your breath for a moment? That peace was not coming from the rain or the tree. It was always inside you. The rain just reminded you. The tree just helped you slow down enough to feel it. What does this teach us? That peace is not created. It is uncovered. It is already there, but covered by noise, by thoughts, by desire. Peace is like the sun behind the clouds. The sun never leaves. You just can't see it when the sky is full. Now you may ask, how do I find this inner peace in daily life? Let me guide you. First, practice silence. Not just with your mouth, but with your mind. Each day, take a few minutes to sit quietly. No phone, no noise, just you and your breath. This simple practice opens the door. Second, stop chasing things that don't feed your soul. So many people run all day chasing things they don't even need. They think, when I get this, I'll be happy. But when they get it, the mind wants more. The cycle never ends. Break the cycle. Ask yourself, do I really need this to feel peaceful? Often, the answer is no. Third, forgive. You will win. Not just some of the time. Not just when luck is with you. Not just when things go your way. You will win every situation in life. If you choose awareness over reaction. If you choose presence over rush. If you choose peace over pride. If you choose the path within. And now, dear one, as we end this 12-part journey together, I bow to you, not for reaching the end, but for having the courage to begin. Now, carry this wisdom into your life. And if it ever becomes heavy, just sit down, breathe, and remember, you were never meant to run after peace. You were meant to sit with it. Before we part, if you found even one word helpful, one thought healing, or one truth beautiful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Wisdom Woven. There's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If you're one who stayed till the end, perhaps you're not just a viewer, but a seeker. Let us grow this space together for those who walk the silent path. Until next time, may you always choose the way of stillness. May you always win from within.